Hey everyone, today I wanted to play some Mask of the Rose, but before I dive into that, I thought I would play a little Fallen London. Mask of the Rose is a dating visual novel set in the Fallen London universe, and if you don't know Fallen London, it's a browser-based text adventure game that came out in 2009, so it's like almost 16 years old at this point. Which, as far as things go on the internet, that's pretty ancient. So I thought we would play a little Fallen London first so you could get a taste of what the Fallen London universe is like. And then we can switch over to Mask of the Rose. So Fallen London is about, now I'm trying to remember the lore, is set in the Victorian period, and London sinks underground. It falls, hence the name. And as you start to learn more about this underground area that you inhabit, because London still is going, it's just now underground, you start to learn that London's not the first city that's sunk in this particular area, and we'll get more into that. So are we a lady or a gentleman? Or non-binary? My dear sir, there are individuals roaming the streets of Fallen London at this very moment with the faces of squid. Squid! Do you ask them their gender, and yet you waste our time asking me trifling and impertinent questions about mine? It is my own business, sir, and I bid you a good day. I'm gonna say, Susie's taken. It's there we go. Now, what portrait do we want? I'm just saying lady because even though I'll use any pronoun. I don't care. I did grow up using she, her, so it's what I sort of default to. I don't have a problem with any of them. Depends on the day. Depends on the year, to be honest. Some years I feel more femme, some years I feel more masculine, some years I feel like a big blob of flesh and water. What do we want? Oh, I like this. Scrappy sort of street urchin look. Maybe we'll do that one. Yeah, we'll do scrappy street urchin. My allergies are flaring up, so if I sound stuffy, that's why. I've tried everything, and I live in a 100-year-old apartment building, and I think the mold is slowly killing me. Can't wait to move. So, here we go. Unfairly imprisoned. From up here, freedom seems so close. All London sprawls below your stalactite cell, vast and illuminating by thousands of flickering gaslights. Only the bars of this prison keep you here, not for much longer. Hello, delicious friend. To find out who you are and why you're here, you'll first need to escape from prison. So now we get into these moves, right? This is where the text-based sort of visual novel aspect comes in. Recall where you are. You descended here from the surface where the sun still shines. In Fallen London's often encouraged to explore everything before moving on. Okay. And then this one will move the story onward. So it wants us to do this one. A cavern the size of Europe, and a prison in a stalactite clinging to its roof. This is New Newgate, London's premier correctional facility. Serviced by dirigibles and guarded by warders who wear lumpy sacks over their faces. It's best not to make jokes about the latter. They're not employed for their sense of humor. Below, the lights of Fallen London glimmer at the edge of the dark cave sea, like a handful of dropped jewels. During the day, when Londoners light more candles and gas lamps, the jewels are that much brighter. But above you in the cavern roof, phosphorescent artificial stars are always visible. Deep, dark, marvelous, and now you need to get out. So we'll concentrate on escaping. You did not leave the surface behind to spend the rest of your days locked away in here. So I came from the surface down to Fallen London? Yeah, I descended from the surface where the sun still shines, and I ended up getting in prison. I have an older Fallen London account, but I haven't played Fallen London for at least 10 years. We played it a lot back in the 2010s, but it's been a while, so I don't remember any of this intro. Most choices in Fallen London cost an additional action. Look to the candle on the top left of the screen or at the bottom of the screen on mobile. If you like the look of this and want to play it, it does look really good on mobile. It's easy and fun to play on mobile. So I would say check it out. Try it. So this candle shows us how many actions we have. Actions gradually replenish up to a total of 20 or 40 for subscribers. So it's free, but if you want more actions, you can pay. And here it tells me I recover my 20th action, my next action in 5 minutes. New Newgate cannot hold you. Your imprisonment is unjust and worse, inconvenient. This means your escape is clear. Now you must concentrate on the method. So observe the, oh boy, Gowlers? I don't know that word. Jailers. That's that's jailer. That's like Middle English for jailer, right? Back before sounds and spelling were made consistent. If you can learn their schedule, you can learn the opportune moment to make your escape. This is a watchful challenge. Watchful challenges encompass observation, deduction, and the uncovering of secrets. So a straightforward challenge. Your watchful quality gives you a 100% chance of success. The jailers shuffle through the prison bearing lanterns and truncheons. Occasionally, they stick one or other through the bars of a cell to discommode the prisoners within. You hear sobs, grunts, and the occasional "Utha-tharu" from a rubbery prisoner. The sacks they wear for masks make telling them apart impossible. They too provide one advantage, however. When not drinking, dicing, or patrolling, one sits outside your cell and indulges in a discreet nap. If it weren't for the snoring, you wouldn't be able to tell. You make a note of his rota and begin to wait for his next shift. Challenges will improve your skill even if you fail. Most challenges in Fallen London give you the opportunity to try again. Sometime you must perform the same action more than once. So, my watchful is increasing, and my preparations are complete. We've learned the jailer's schedule. The hour of your escape is clear. Know all you need is patience and a distraction. The former is your own affair. For the latter, you will require help. Fortunately, you have a cellmate. You can learn about your skills and other things about you on the Myself tab up here. On desktop, look above the story content. Yep. Particular important qualities will be visible in the sidebar. So, here, we're an unremarkable lady. Where this tells us where we are. We're in the prison. And it tells us, look, we have dangerous, persuasive, shadowy, and watchful. And they're all pretty low out of 200. And it tells me what stories I'm in the middle of. I think in my main game that I haven't touched for like 10 years, I'm doing a bunch of stuff for cats, I think. So we're just observing the jailers right now. Until we had to do it 3 times. Convince your cellmate to assist in your escape. He is a literal devil. The yellow eyes are a giveaway. He's unlikely to be sympathetic to the jailers. The question is whether he'll be sympathetic to you. This is a persuasive challenge. Persuasive challenges encompass the art of conversation, forging relationships, and displaying your own charisma. So, let's go. The unlucky devil is here by diplomatic arrangement. Fallen London enjoys an uneasy relationship with its nearest neighbor, Hell. They spy on each other frequently. This devil was unfortunate enough to be caught. The unlucky devil listens to your plan for only a moment, but he is convinced. Anything to be out of here, he says. Prison is not good for your soul. He gives you a hungry look and then turns his attention to the bars of your cell. So we persuaded him successfully. A moment's hesitation. Judging time down here is difficult. There is neither day nor night, only the green gleam of the false stars above and the gaslights of London below. All you can do is wait for the sleepy jailer to take up his post. The unlucky devil taps you on the shoulder as you watch. What brought you down here, he asks, his voice pitched low, and make you risk this? He gestures to the walls and bars of New Newgate. So now we have a choice. We can tell him why we're down here. The pursuit of pleasure, the pursuit of discovery, the pursuit of wonder, and the pursuit of escape. So I think the pursuit of wonder is really what I'm going for. Fallen London is a place like no other. It sits on the borders of hell, on the brink of a vast underground sea. Rubbery men rub tentacles with devils, claymen, bandaged tomb colonists, and more. The surface is a world away. But yeah, I climbed down in here. Weird. The unlucky devil gives you a toothy smile. You won't be disappointed. London is a city of wonders. It even gives we devils pause sometimes. He pauses for a moment and frowns. Wait, do you hear that? You listen carefully. At first, only the silence of the prison. Then slowly you hear it, soft but unmistakable. The sound of snoring. The devil stands up, brushing the dust from his knees. Get ready. It's time. All right, let's go. Let's get out of here. Your jailer is asleep, snoring behind his sackcloth hood. The gaslights are low on the walls, sending eerie flickering dancing along the smooth surface of its stalactite. It is time. So we're going to wriggle out of our manacles. You would be able to reach a jailer's keys if our hands weren't manacled together. These irons are, fortunately, quite poorly made. You work your wrists around the cuff, chafing your skin as you begin to inch your hands free. You now have access to the Possessions tab up here. You need to remove your manacles to steal a jailer's key. You can find them in your glove slot. Tap and remove them. Okay, so here they are. Just tap to remove? Okay. And now that we got this, we can leave. The jailer's keys are in reach. If you can filch them without waking him. I assume Feel Better Games is English. I don't know. I haven't looked them up. You reach as far as you can and feel the chill of metal against your fingers. The keys are within your grasp. With a muffled grunt, you stretch just a fraction further and close your hands around the keys. Without making a sound, you slip your arm back inside the cell and slip the key into the lock. The unlucky devil looks impressed. Quiet as a church mouse, or quiet as collective, the two of you as church mice, you creep out from the cell. The unlucky devil closes the door behind you, and together you steal past a sleeping jailer. A dark arch looms ahead. The stairs lead further down to where the dirigibles wait. Onward. Following the stairs down and down through New Newgate, you pass larders filled with mushrooms and candles, offices groaning with yellow paperwork, and row upon row of cells, where grim faces peer out through the bars. A guard passes once, but you stick close to the shadows against the wall and he walks by, unseen. At least you reach the final stair, and the door to the dirigible berth. The light of the false stars washes over you as you step out onto the cavern roof. A dirigible awaits at the berth, its crew readying to depart. All that stands between you is a lone jailer, piling crates of food beside the door. It wouldn't technically be murder. Death is rarely permanent in Fallen London, but you can certainly inconvenience this jailer. We're gonna knock him out. Clunk. The jailer barely has time to stand before you are upon him. He reaches for the cudgel at his belt, but you are faster. Once, twice, thrice about the temples, and he staggers, arms flailing as he tries to steady himself from falling over the edge. You push your advantage before he can recover. A smart knock to the chest has him overbalanced, and gravity does the rest. You grab the sack from his face as he topples away. The unlucky devil gives you a polite round of applause as the jailer disappears from sight. Shall we? Says the devil, indicating the waiting dirigible. As one or together, the dirigible is ready to depart from London. You and the unlucky devil stand on a slim ledge beyond the prison door. The dirigible pilot has not noticed you yet. You have the jailer's sackcloth mask. You could attempt a disguise, but there are two of you and only one mask. You can disguise yourself as his jailer. Let's do that. Because I don't know him. I don't know enough about him, and he's a devil, so is he trustworthy? He was helpful, and there is something about a deal with a devil, right? The unlucky devil gives you a quick smile as he grasps your plan. He falls into step behind you as you negotiate with the dirigible pilot. The pilot has noticed nothing. He expected to meet a jailer, and now he has. Anything more is more than he's paid to notice. You nestle in the berth of the dirigible, and the unlucky devil is beside you. With a swift untethering of the ropes, the dirigible is free. Slowly, you begin your descent until New Newgate is just one of the many stalactites high on the cavern roof. The dirigible descends by slow degrees. You watch the false stars above become distant emerald glimmers. New Newgate slowly sinks from view, one stalactite among many. For the first time in a long while, you have a moment to plan your course ahead. Where will you go when the dirigible lands? We can visit 4 areas and each is suited to a skill. But you will need to advance all 4 to progress. Okay, let's go to Vale Garden. Work? You? Wine and song and all the pleasures of the underworld now. Work later. Honey dens and public houses abound, and it's whispered all manner of sin can be found. The dirigible spirals slowly down over the smoldering lights of London. The cavern breezes of the Neath pluck at your clothing. You're over Vale Garden. Laughter and drunken song drift up through the chill cavern air. As the dirigible passes the spire of St. Aegidius, you leap to safety. You clamber down into Vale Garden, avoiding the nests of bats and ravens as you go. The unlucky devil gives you one last smile. Hell will remember your kindness, he says, before walking away into the fog. You are alone once more, and all of London lies before you. Welcome to Fallen London, delicious friend. 1,000 choices. You slip through the streets, putting some distance between you and the drifting dirigible. You're free! You made it out of New Newgate prison into the streets of the city. Of course, you're homeless, penniless, and carrying nothing more than the fetid clothes your captors provided you with. But now, you can start. Now that you're free, you'll find many more choices and stories available to you. If in doubt, look for stories with a blue border. These are particularly relevant to new players and often unlock new options. Like this one. What's this? A matter of opportunity. It's quite amazing what can land in your lap in Fallen London. You unlock this by not having any acquaintance, the dubiously shrewd rat. Unlocked when you do not have the route lodgings. Okay. There are so many if-thens in this game. I cannot even, holy cow, how do they keep track of all this that they've been working on for 16 years? It must be a nightmare. So this one they suggest for good. This one they suggest for good, for new players. Is good for new players. Why don't we do that? Finding your way around Fallen London isn't always straightforward. There was a certain percussive reconfiguration when the city fell, true. But more than that, the place seems to enjoy a somewhat confounding relationship with space. It may take you some practice to find your feet. See if you can find your way from one area of the city to another. Look at the map. One of these days, you're really going to have to get yourself some better shoes. You've unlocked the map. Let's take a look at the map. Okay, so we're in Vale Garden. Find somewhere to live. That's right, it told me I needed to visit all the different areas to progress. So I need to do all these blue bordered options in every neighborhood. You need an address, or the constables might scoop you off the streets for vagrancy. So we can charm our way into someone's home. Why can't I do any of this? You can earn moon pearls in the alleys of spite, storylit. Okay, so we have to go to Ladybones Road to get whispered hints. Where's Ladybones Road? Here? Study the secrets of Fallen London. This is where we need whispered secrets. Do we want to decipher graffiti or listen to gossip? Success here will earn you more whispered hints than deciphering graffiti would. Okay, let's do that. Old women sell sugar and mushrooms between executions at Hangman's Arch. They know a surprising amount of what goes on in the city. Try again. Okay, so now we're finally using our actions. We finally made it out to the part of the story where we're using our actions. Okay. So we have whispered secrets now. Oh.
Should we go back and, we can find somewhere to live. And we have whispered secrets now. You have moved into your new area, your lodgings. You've lost 20 whispered hints. Now I have 0, and I found a home. Great. A stranger slipped you a note. Have patience, arrange for lodgings. I will send assistance there. All shall be well. The stranger slipped you this note, but by the time you turn around, they're already gone. Who knows you're here in Fallen London? Why are they helping you? Yeah, exactly. A diamond in the fluff? In Fallen London, the bazaar is a constant presence. Even from your window, you can see its spires jutting above the rooftops. Let's go there. The side streets around it are reserved for the city's more influential types, but you are very much not yet. But the goods that flow through the bazaar reach every part of the city. There's money to be made by those with something to sell. Like, say, those who have just spotted a shining gemstone wedged between the floorboards. You were told that anything left in the room must have been forgotten by the previous tenant, and thus should be considered fair game. You pop the jewel out from between the boards and dust off the accumulated dust. It took me a second. Dust off the accumulated dust. It's a fine one, and it's yours now. You've not yet made yourself familiar with buying and selling of goods in the city, but you have a line on someone who'd pay a good price for this. I do? Let's see. We can visit the Smiling Fence. She works out of a dingy warehouse in Spite. Though aren't all warehouses dingy down here? She smiles. Of course she does when she sees you. But there's a nervous saccading motion. Like, I don't know that word. This game is going to be full of words I don't know. To her eyes, like she's trying to watch all entrances at once. What have you got for me then? You have unlocked the Bazaar tab. From there you'll be able to buy and sell items. Sell the diamond on the Bazaar tab. Sell my things. Just one. Alright. The fence hands you a stack of echoes and some pennies. Somewhere nearby a window breaks. There's a sound of heavy boots tromping your way. She sighs. Blaming constables again. Not your doing, I imagine. Just time for me to close up shop again. Of course, it's probably best that you get out of here without them guessing your identity. Scrutiny from the constables this soon after escaping would be inopportune. I see, says the fence, smiling wider. Well, it just so happens that I've got some togs for sale. Quickly now, before they seize the lot. Purchase an item of clothing from the fence. Okay. We want faded morning suit or maidservant's uniform. We'll buy the suit. And now we can put it in our clothes, possessions. Get rid of that. Clonk, clonk. Nope. Yep, nope. There we go. Should we not be wearing a prisoner's mask? How about that? The constables only have eyes for the fence and her goods. She seems entirely unconcerned by this. It is just, as she says, the cost of doing business. Fortunately, the bobbies don't spare you a second glance as you slip into the night. You can now access all the shops. I'll acquire a miscellany of items. Many of them I can sell. I might want to sell my nasty clothes. Okay, sell my things. We don't need this. I'm going to keep my prisoner's mask because it does give me shadowy, and if I have a shadowy challenge, it might be good for that. We'll meet a lot of rats in Mask of the Rose, so I think should we meet them here? You wake one morning to find a rat regarding you from the armchair. I've been watching you, and I ain't been much impressed with what I seen. It shakes its little head in exaggerated disappointment. You better wise up. The city can be fierce and unkind if you trust the wrong people. It looks away quickly and sniffs. Lucky for you, though, I'm here. I've got time on me hands. Time enough to show you the ropes, anyway. The dubiously shrewd rat will give you guidance on helpful activities to pursue early in your time in Fallen London. Ask what the rat gets out of this. Is it expecting you to pay for its advice? No, wouldn't dream of it, it says quickly. It is incumbent upon the master to educate the novice. I'll do it all to goodness me out. I laughed because they put a bunch of H's here on stuff and then left off the H on heart, which just made me laugh. You know, they did that on purpose, obviously. Should we keep talking to the rat or chat with local gossip? Let's talk to the rat more. There you are. How are you getting on? Oh, busy day, but you know, I always make time for you. Every day is apparently a busy day for the dubiously shrewd rat, though it never seems to leave your lodgings. So, why don't you tell me what you've learned lately? We can't do any of that, but we can. People here always need something, often something horrible. We can find items or find stories. Let's talk about finding stories. Well, I might not be the chap rat for that one. Boy, have you seen the fellow with the bowler hat and the beady eyes? Okay. The weasel pit. Ooh, rubbery men. Urchins. I want to be friends with the urchins. Urchins from various gangs treat the carnival as neutral ground. They are staring, rapt, at Madame Shoshana as she prognosticates. Evening, Gov. You secure your valuables and go to speak to the darling children. Many are wide-eyed with fear or wonder after speaking to Madame Shoshana, but a few kind words and a forgotten boiled sweet has them back on form. They gossip happily and promise future services with youthful carelessness. I've regained renowned urchins. Sweet. So, you've gotten the gist. This is Fallen London. I think now I want to move into Mask of the Rose. It's time to romance some weird guys in big cloaks. You see here they've got a little thumbnail telling you, hey, go play Fallen London. Why don't you? Go play Fallen London. So I do actually have, I think I already mentioned this, 17 hours in this game. But it's been redone quite a bit. So we'll see. What sigils do I have? Okay, these are just all my endings. So it looks like I've got 1, 2, 3. I don't know how many there are, but it looks like I've got quite a few left to go if there's several sigils on each pillar here. Let's get into it. Your first foray into the Mask of Rose is unlikely to end as happily as you might hope. Never mind, savor your successes, delight in your disasters. Try again, wiser in the ways of the Neath. The city is thick with secrets, but they can't hide from you. In February 1862, with no warning at all, London fell to the surface of Earth. This was meant to be a year of progress in industry. The Great Exposition, trams, a new sewer system. Instead, we find ourselves dwelling in a cave. It's October now. The fires have been put out, and the bodies have been buried. But the future remains unimaginable, the time before impossibly distant. All right, who were we in the past before London fell? You know, let's be an Undertaker. Kind of go with our Veilguard character, our Rook. Down here, your name is whatever you say it is. Often there's no one left to remember who you used to be. Some people hold tight to the names they carried before. Some reinvent themselves completely. I really like it in Fallen London. I've got my main game that I started back in 2015. They're like, Matt, like they don't know what to call me. And I like that, but I don't think this option is there. I prefer strangers to address me as comrade, though my friends call me Susie. That suits me. That's me, Susie to my friends, comrade to strangers. That's how I was addressed even before London fell. Where's our rapscallion? I like this mohawk, but I don't smoke a pipe. We'll do this. That's me. In the Neath, a true ally means everything. When I find people to be close to, I am open to. Okay, so here you can say, I want to engage with the dating aspects, or I don't want to at all. I want it all. I want friendship, I want romance, and I want physical intimacy. Get me in that Mr. Book's cape. I want to get in that cloak. I tried romancing him. You'll see who I'm talking about. I befriended him in my first playthrough, but I wasn't able to romance him successfully. It was really hard. I'll be looking for both romantic feelings and a physical connection. Friendship and matchmaking are possible too, of course. Ooh, yes, passionate romance. I'm happy with this. Right now, I'm meant to be helping with the census, finding out who still lives in my neighborhood. The first census results are due tomorrow. If I turn them in, I get paid. The first money to come my way in nearly 2 months. If I don't, I'm going to disappoint Grizz badly. She knew I was in trouble, so she went out of her way to find me work with her own employers. She even gave me a badge to show my affiliation. The badge of the Ministry of Accounting and Recounting. The front of the badge looks almost like a constable's badge, with a lion and the unicorn blazoned on it. The back of the badge has some kind of symbol I don't recognize, hot to touch. I keep it with the clothes I have on from before the fall, a few odd items I found more recently, and a few more odd items. Oh, I can put my badge on? So I'll want to change my outfit. You do this in Fall in London too. You would change your outfit based on what you're about to do. Not everyone's going to want to see the badge, but I also have the corsage. We'll put the badge on now because I feel like that's what it wants us to do. And we'll put our black coat on, my Undertaker's coat. All right, that'll do. I look very formal, don't I? Look very dapper. Welcome to your attic. From here you may explore the city, recall the past, change your outfit, and do more as the story unfolds. The game will save each time you return here, indicated by this notification. I don't need to change my outfit, but I do want to head outside. There's nothing else I can do in here right now. Boarding house? Host a visitor before bed. It's like the only thing I can do. This must be Grizz. Oh, I thought you were up here. Sorry to anyone for my English accents. I did look it up. Bellbetter is a British developer. So. She glances at the badge I'm wearing. I suppose I should be glad you're thinking about the census, even if you didn't get around to leaving the house. I react to that the way I react to many things these days. I dare to name the frightening things out there. I'm not sure what I'll meet out there. Not everything outside is human. Rumors. Don't let a few odd things in the broadsheets frighten you. Come tomorrow evening, we'll need to have at least a few census forms filled out. Or I'm going to be the one explaining to Mr. Pages. Yeah, Mr. Pages, not Mr. Book. And if that happens, I'm not going to help you with your employment prospects again. Grizz works for the Ministry of Accounting and Recounting. It seems to agree with her. She wears trousers to work and comes home at all hours. She wears trousers to work. This is Victorian England, so, you know. It's very important to her, being taken seriously by these employers. The next thing I do is characteristic 2. Be open and build trust. I don't find it easy to go out in all this. The darkness is oppressive. Archie feels the same way. When you think about it, Archie would have done better to go to Italy or the south of France and get his training there. I imagine all the medical training is just as good, and the son would have improved his disposition. You do still have some time tomorrow. Sorry if it gets a little Australian. What do you think about the questions? They're written in the most peculiar spiked handwriting, and there are punctures in the paper in random spots. Ask her what put these holes in the paper. Why does this page look like this? Do your employers know how to use a pen? I've not seen them writing. I've only seen the ink on their sleeves afterwards. And do they have claws? Whatever their methods, they are trying to restore London, to feed everyone and create some kind of order. Here, try the questions on me. Say you've just knocked on the door and I have come to answer it. Yes, what do you want? I introduce myself as an agent of the ministry and show my badge. Good evening. On behalf of the Ministry of Accounting and Recounting, I have a few questions. Oh, how lovely. I'm so grateful to these ministries are looking after us. All right, let's just read the first question. How many people live in this establishmentation? Is that a word? Establishmentation? Our superiors are enthusiastic embellishers of the language. If you like, you can translate into questions that are more likely to be understood. Right. How many people live in this establishment? 4. The landlady, Miss Horatia Chapman, a young man named Archibald Reed, myself, and a 4th character, very disreputable. We'll build trust. I'm not a secretive person, Grizz. If I seem disreputable, you only have to ask about it. Yes, maybe, but then you might expect me to answer any of your questions. She's on to me. Sometimes I'm in the mood to keep chatting, and sometimes I just want to get to the point. I've learned enough. I'm not romancing Grizz. I read the remaining questions over quickly, enough to prove Grizz I know what I'm about. I think I've convinced her I won't do too badly. At this moment, a second visitor walks in. Good old Archie. Archie's family's in Scotland, uh-oh. Everyone says that only London fell below, but Archie's afraid that something happened to them too. I wondered where you were. I feel like Archie's a little too vanilla. So, guess at why Archie's here. Archie, is something wrong downstairs? Has there been a new disaster? Not the kind you're thinking of. I can't. Too many accents. I went this morning to visit a patient, and what do I find pasted up on the wall? He holds up a broadsheet. There's a new decree from the Ministry of Cartography and Chirography. All the maps and atlases are to be surrendered or put on the fire. It's your folk making these rules, Grizz. I'm staying well out of this. I have no view. Will you be asking your Mr. Pages about these maps? One must respect the law. None of us knows what's safe down here in the Neath. Most likely there are reasons you can't imagine. Susie, please do collect at least a few census forms by tomorrow from whatever Londoners you're able to find. At the end of the day, I'll find you and we can take them to Mr. Pages together. Ooh, Archie's mad. All right, so I have to deliver a census form to Pages, Mr. Pages. You know what I miss the most? Back home, me sister's hair turned color when it rained. Blonde to wet plastered brown. You miss that the most? Like a mad hen she looked. Let's talk about the census. Grizz has me gathering census pages for the ministry. Aye. Grizz told me it was some such thing. I show some doubt? Are you truly free of romantic commitments from before the fall? You've never befriended an especially promising patient? You must have had your share of opportunities. Down here, there's no one. What about before the fall? There was a lass back home, and what did me mother do but promise me to her? Encourage him to go on. That sounds like a tale. What happened? Not so uncommon, I think. Me mother was friends with this lass's parents. They were getting on in years and her not married, and of course the whole village knew her business. So me mother said she'd fix it up between us next time I were home, but I've not been back since. Seemed to me I ought to wait till I was finished with me studies. Might have a better look to it. So was this gal just getting old? And everyone was like, oh, what's going on? Why is this woman so old? She's not married yet. So Archie's mom took pity on her and promised Archie to her. The question had stirred recollections he's not considered for a time. Is it bad to say I've not thought much of her since? She has very even teeth. My mother said overlapping teeth in a woman mean defiance, and gaps means a light skirt. I'm just gonna let that go. I see. Don't look so stiff. Now let's ask Archie about his work. We'll ask what he does for money. Is your income all from seeing patients these days? I did sell off a couple of my old atlases just today. Censored maps sell for a good price if you know the right buyer. Ferret's vermin eradication takes in more than just rats. If I can ask you a wee thing, you've given the sense that you don't care much for me. You haven't been kind to me. Maybe I've given you some offense. If that's so, I'd prefer to be on better terms. I did not intend to give offense, Archie. I think well of you, I assure you. You'll say it's my rural upbringing, but I've not known many like you before. An awkward silence falls. I'm glad we've decided that. I only have platonic intentions toward Archie. My face betrays my true feelings. Sorry, Archie. Review the day in my journal? Okay. So we've got to conduct more census, and then Grizz will take them. And now we go to sleep. "13 days remain in the season of confessions." The newspapers aren't what they used to be, but someone is still printing broadsheets these days. Archie brought one, and the headlines read, "Masters announce increased biscuit rations for hungry Londoners." Excuse me, I hiccuped right in the middle of that. We had just head outside. We've got to get census pages. Drawl Street. Take the census with Harjeet? I don't know how to pronounce his name. It's worthy to be mindful of how others will perceive me, what role I play, what I can and cannot say is constrained by my clothes. This was true before the fall, but it's even truer now. Names, identities, and relationships have all become so unsteady and unreliable. Harjeet admires duty, but does not always care for the ministry. It's hard to say what impression the badge might make on him. I should change. We'll put the lapel on. That'll do. I consider what impression this will make on Harjeet. I'm satisfied with this. Yeah, he's a constable. The streets outside Mrs. Chapman's are not easy. I've met a number of vicars and churchmen thanks to my former connections. Because I'm an undertaker, I still know where to look for them. St. Alban was the first English martyr, a point of considerable pride to the local vicar. It's a church of our parish. But whenever I need to find more of them, it's Harjeet who helps me out. I'm not going to do an accent. I have something for you if you want it. He produces a nearly new admiral's hat in perfectly good condition. I found it near the docks. No sign of the owner, and I can't wear it myself. Thought someone at Miss Chapman's might get use out of it. Perhaps Lady Griselda. Hell yeah. Admiral's hat, trimmed with a gold braid, makes a person look like a respectable representative of the Navy. Wearing it gives me a commanding, if slightly curmudgeonly presence. Clothes make an impression on other people when I wear them. They make an impression on me too. Sometimes I'm inspired to say things I wouldn't otherwise. I have the feeling this particular hat would make me a bit gruff and commanding. I just want to thank him profusely. I don't want to be gruff with Harjeet. He's just giving me a free hat. Oh, thank you kindly. What a thoughtful gift. It's so cold down here and the clothes wear out quickly. Harjeet laughs. Establish my authority. He doesn't trust the bureau. Should I try this on him? He's a constable. I require assistance with the ministry's census. The truth is essential. I see. London was determined to collect everyone's name even before the fall. The information is needed for planning. The idea is to find out how many mouths need feeding. A list like that is never put only to one use. But never mind. You do not have to explain yourself to me. Not while I'm wearing this uniform at any rate. What do you wish to know? Should we flirt with Harjeet? There's some, real weird guys in this game, and I think I want to go that route. So, we'll just ask politely. I don't need to be a bee. Do you live alone? Also, Harjeet is a pretty, forward guy. I don't think you really need to twist his arm. At one time, I shared my lodgings. That was prior to the fall, but my former companion is missing. There's something else I'd like to know, I say as I adjust my hat. I require an answer. Are you married or otherwise connected? This is not a matter I would explain to most people. You and I have known each other for some time, however. I think you would hear me out kindly, but if you would rather not carry my secrets. I want to know Susie. I'll keep it in confidence. I believe I know what is expected in these situations. Even before the fall, I would have not married. My companion was not a lady. He was an officer who came to the Punjab. We became acquainted, and then more than acquainted. I thought he and I would remain together throughout our lives. I followed him here, away from my own country and everything I knew, to the home of my former enemies. He promised me that it was worth the sacrifice. He said we would never be separated, because the British Empire did a real number on India. You will observe that he isn't here. We'll sympathize. I'm sorry, these are terrible times. Harjeet makes a few flattering remarks on my better points. I've been looking for him since the night of the fall. I walked on the streets that were tearing themselves stone from stone looking for him. We'll give him hope. Perhaps you'll still find him. It becomes more unlikely. No one speaks for a moment. There are so many things in my life that I share with no one. Things that are not secret or even private, but that are beyond companionship. The memory of my home, my faith, the intricate politics of the court in Lahore, which I learned in childhood and cannot forget. And now I'm adding to all the empty buildings that I alone see. Do you have any such things of your own? In which communication entirely fails? Sure, we'll talk about the funerals. I tell him the things that no one wishes to know about the holding of funerals. I talk about the cleaning and disposal of bodies, and the speed which you'd need to get them into the ground, especially in hot weather. I tell him about the funerals and the hired mourners and the empty carriages that roll in procession. When those invited to a funeral aren't moved to mourn for themselves. I talk about the sale of bodies for surgical dissection and about children poisoned for their burial insurance. Yikes. It does not show London in a kind light, even before all this. I can understand why perhaps no one wanted to hear of it. What do you think of London? If you've seen other cities, what do you think of ours? It has been taken by surprise, which serves its right. No, you deserve a better answer. I do not like the city London was, and I do not like the city London will become. In time, she'll remember her confidence and try to rule again, unless Lady Griselda and her type fail. But the cracked and lost parts of London now, this is a place to love. People have no choice but to meet as equals now and then. Let's just say I want to be friends. What are you thinking, I wonder? Harjeet and I should be friends. What's the difference between these two? I grin. I should go, but you know where to find me. I'm always here. Judging by the clock, I can afford one more errand a day before supper. We can go to the church. Look for potential census fillers here. I should change. I think we need to get rid of the hat. We're not going to boast and gallivant. But at the church, I feel like the coat will give me a good vibe. Yeah, I don't know if the badge is gonna... We'll see. You know, whatever ending we get, we get. St. Albans Proto-Martyr. This is the closest church to Horatia's. But if you're here in need of guidance, let's draw a connection between us and the Undertaker business. I'm Susie. Theophilus Witherwick. Oh, it is a Yorkshire name, as a British name. Before the fall, my family were undertakers. I'll explain that I'm with the ministry. I don't have my badge with me, but I'm collecting census information for the Ministry of Accounting and Recounting. I see. A decree went out from Kaiser Augustus that all the world should be taxed. Render unto Kaiser, as they say. And what does Kaiser want at the moment? Oof. There is not a great deal in the poor box. Just a few answers about your habits. It'll only take a moment. Should we establish some trust? I live in Miss Chapman's boarding house. That at least offers some companionship. Aha. Do you live alone? Theophilus speaks quite openly. I live alone in the rooms provided for the vicar of this parish. There is a woman who comes twice a week to clean. Or there was. Her visits have been more erratic of late. She stole several spoons and a chafing dish from me. It was my second best chasuble. Who knows what she thought to do with it? Is it some religious thing? didn't grow up very religious. Even though I went to church every Sunday, I didn't pay attention. When I did not turn her off for dishonesty, she lost all respect for me. In retrospect, it was an error. I thought to show mercy. Oh, so she just took advantage of you more. Now I sleep on damp sheets. Ugh. In a reassuring way. There's no danger in these questions. Are you unmarried and unencumbered? No secret mistresses? I was married. The lady was 2 or 3 years older than myself, a very sensible and capable woman. Her name was Anne. Should I pry? I'll leave it be. I'm sorry, perhaps this is a recent loss. Not recent, but a loss all the same. On the other hand, it is a comfort to remember her. No one here knew her. No one here ever speaks about her. Oh, so he doesn't get a chance to think about her. What's going on back here? Oh, spooky. Something has landed on the roof. It sees us. You get this often? Bat. It's fall in London. Is that thing, a frequent visitor? No, but it has come enough times that I am familiar with its noises. It's landed there a few times before, especially when the choir is practicing. I hold my breath and make no sound. Theophilus is barely breathing either. He gone? Sounds like he flapped away. The thing up there is gone. Theophilus says nothing. He is still listening for the thing on the ceiling. What happened to the roof? Ah, that. We must assume the fabric of the building sustained significant damage in the fall. The funny thing is, it held up for weeks, but shortly after Pentecost, it all came down. I choose not to construe this as an intervention of the Holy Spirit. We'll do some Undertaker stuff here. I'll pray for the church roof. There must be an overwhelming number of such intercessions just at the moment. It was good of you to stop in. Lord, see you safely home again. It's time to go home. So I think we're out of time, but I think we can go down to supper. I was going to say we can do something in the house. Grizz is waiting for me. Whatever census forms you have ready, it's time to take them to Mr. Page's. I'm ready, I guess. I'm prepared. I sincerely hope that's true. Come with me. Once I've shown you how to reach a ministry, you can come back on your own and turn in others. Grizz has me gather my papers. With luck, Mr. Page's will decide to keep you on. With that, she leads me outside and down a side street that is no longer named. The way is a Dolores pilgrimage. Dolores? We scramble upstairs, too steep for our legs. We squeeze through sphincteral alleyways. We snag our hems on splinters of unsanded carpentry. Something, perhaps the bazaar, perhaps the city itself, begrudges our approach. Finally, we find ourselves standing in its shadow, under the walls. So maybe it does remember what decisions I made, right? Because these are the sigils I had. Before us is a low door that once, I think, belonged to a solicitor's office. Grizz takes out a key, made of something other than metal, and unlocks that door. Mind the pile of papers. I've already sorted them 3 times. Mr. Pages is very particular about the ordering of documents. Now, where has he gone? Usually he's here by this time of day. Oh, there you are, sir. We were just coming to bring you the census documents. The first installment of many, I'm sure. There's a tone in her voice, somewhere between fondness and a nanny guiding an untutored child. Whatever they do is up to them. Mr. Pages, may I present Susie? Susie, this is Mr. Pages. The whole Ministry of Accounting and Recounting is under Mr. Pages' direction. We'll be civil. How do you do? Mr. Pages uses a lot of non-real words, they're like words that are very close to being real. Like what? Establishmentation? Virtuous with a soupçon of myrtlance. A high-pitched voice. Mr. Pages has a surprisingly high voice for someone so large. I beg your pardon? Mr. Pages has been interviewing a Frenchman unhappily stranded on our shores before the fall. You can imagine how that might affect both mind and vocabulary. Is it like a dig at the French? Sure. Still thinking in French, eh? The words get stuck in the head. What have you brought us? Sounds like a child. Sure. Here's your deets on Archie. Ah, most satisfactory. There are secrets here. It gives me 2 shiny pennies for my trouble. I turn one over and it has a portrait on the back of someone who is certainly not the queen. The face on the back of the coin stares at me until the hair prickles on my neck. The coin reminds me of a debt owed, and I don't want to remember. And my breath hitches and slows and resumes. I'm holding 2 pennies now. I have more. We did not expect much from Archie. Undercon Grizz has already revelated that he is a lightless character. What else is there? Harjeet? Paige offers me 2 pennies from a jar, bringing my stash up to 4. There are other coins in there and a few things that aren't even coins. Buttons, pearls, probably false. A horse head carved from ivory or bone. The quality of your information impresses us this time. Can we say that the story is finished? While the lover has not returned, another chaptering is imaginable. Do you have anything more? Sure. Here's the priest. Mr. Pages takes a census page eagerly and spends some time scanning it. There's something it is looking for, something it keeps looking for that it cannot find. Grizz specificated the existence of holy men who were wedded to the church. This one appears to have been wedded to a woman. Only a disappointment, though we think... Mr. Page, you're kind of freaky, huh? A disappointment, though we thank you. It might have been something more. It contemplates the final sheet of the census form again. The business of the census is done for now. Perhaps I've earned a question. Let's ask about the maps. Why aren't we allowed to have maps and atlases anymore? We need them more than ever. London isn't arranged where it used to be. I believe the ministry intends to resurvey the territory. In the meantime, it wouldn't do, to have people using fallacious maps. The territory of the Neath is anti-disposificated toward lying still. That is enough of my official duties for the moment. I feel like if we want to get close to Mr. Pages, we really have to like dig into everyone's past and get really in-depth censuses. So, I'll remember that for next time. Grizz accompanies me out again when it's time to go. She makes a couple of remarks how useful this will be, though she stops short of asking whether I'm in debt to Horatia. I haven't forgotten, though. As we make our way back to Horatia's, Grizz asks me what I think of Mr. Pages. She tries to make it sound like an idly curious question. I'm grateful for the arrangement. It was very good of you to put this together. You're a good egg. At least that's what my former fiancé used to say. Griselda, you're a good egg. Before we go back inside the house, she reminds me. We have many more people in the neighborhood to survey for the census. You know how it's done now, so you can collect them and take them to Mr. Pages yourself. I have other duties, and I may not always. She's gotten less British. At the beginning, I was really leaning in, putting a lot of that bad British accent cheese on her, but I've laid off, haven't I? Mostly because it's tiring to read all this. I have other duties, and I may not always be there. But Pages is, well, I'm certain you won't be harmed if you visit the ministry on your own. I don't know, man. He's so hard to court, and I feel like we already screwed up. Grizz is silent. As was I. Review the day in my journal, and then we'll stop here. So we did our census pages. So next we have to give pennies to Horatia for her rent. And then we have to do 7 more census forms and deliver them to Mr. Pages. So I feel like there's 14 days, I think, in the game. I don't know. I'll probably be able to do a day every half an hour, so I'll probably be able to get 2 days per video. So this might be like 7 episodes long or so, unless I play more Fallen London in the mix. And then we have to decide, once we've seen all of the people to romance, if we want to replay and romance them again. We'll see how we feel. I feel like it's been long enough since I played this game that this first playthrough, I'm not gonna get... I might befriend someone. I might not be able to save Archie. You'll see what I'm talking about. That was originally super hard to do. So we'll see if I can do it. Maybe that'll be like our goal, is to save Archie this playthrough and then not worry too much about romance. And if we happen into a romance, great. And then once we remember how this game works and we've seen a lot of stuff, we can try it again and then romance someone. There's like a clay golem. There's Mr. Pages. There's Archie. There's Grizz. There's Harjeet. There's a weird, like, there's a rubber man. And his assistant. I don't know if we can romance his assistant. But we'll see if we even meet them. If we meet the rubber man this playthrough. All right, I'll leave it there. I hope you've enjoyed your time in London after the fall. And when you're out there, just be safe. You know, there's a lot of stuff going on, and it's not all on the up and up. So take care of yourself. And when it gets too dark out there, just go back home and go to bed, please. All right, well, sleep tight. And I'll see you again in the next one. And until then, wander safe through those sphincteral alleys. Bye. Won't let me save. I thought it was going to save at the end of the day. So I take back everything I just said, and let's play until we get a save. Another morning, another newspaper. This morning's lies on the open table. Population of rats and spiders in London said to have tripled overnight. Now it's saving. Okay. Well, everything I just said, remember that. And
Bye.